All right. Um, all your values are working here. So just to check it, we can always do the black and white layer, fill that in, put it on saturation. See, so in black and white, you can check your value. You can see, okay, light is coming from above. That's the hottest area here. The little weapons get some because they're metallic, and these cylindrical areas here, they get some hot lights. Otherwise, the values work pretty well. That means we could slap some color on this quite easily. So here, I put an overlay instead of a color just to darken it up a bit, and I put a slight green hue on him. You can see here. So it's no longer that brown lizard material. Very easy to do. And to do that, just select the mask. For example, remember the mask way below? I can select that, make a new layer, and just paint this with whatever color I want. Let's make him like crazy red one. You see? And then put on overlay. And then of course reduce it down because right now he's like neon red, it's crazy. So let's reduce it down. So now we have a kind of a red version of him. Let me make them a little bit more orange. And then you can actually delete out the areas you don't want. So, for example, we can leave the green in there as well, right? But for the orange, you see, we can actually just erase out part of his armor, which I'm doing right now. So only his body has that red, orange color, right? Quite easy to do. And then we can also lay in some of that green. So you could just compound the texture up. So here's a red layer we did. Leave that in, looks kind of cool, Reduce it down a little bit. So that's just a very quick color layer. Alright, Paint 3, this layer really is just some cleanup on the face. So if I zoom in, you can see what I did here. Not much stuff going on here. Oh, I'll show you that little pattern stuff in a bit. All these things, all they're doing is, boom, let's turn these off. See, like the jawline, the jaw detail here is a little bit rough. So just went in here and clean that up. Pull off some of the details like teeth, the eyelid, which will catch some highlight. This layer, darken the eye up a little bit. Yeah, so this whole area here, let me get a brush here. So darken this area up so we could pull out and extract his eye out a little bit better. It reads. Continue some more details around the eye. So again, because the face is important, especially around the eyes, we put in these little tiny details. Put some red into the mouth to indicate that there's flesh underneath, right? So we got the outer skin and the inner skin. It's quite cool. This layer extended his eye a little bit, so we can make it read. And then I pop the eyeball with a little bit of hot highlight. So if I zoom in, you can sort of see that. So this way the face has enough detail to hold this sketch. And that's all for the details. This little layer I put on here just to show students how we could do some very quick things like camouflage and patterns. Right, this is just set on lighten, a layer called lighten. You can set this on anything. You can set it on color as well. See, on color, it just makes it a little bit darker because it works with the value, right? Color does not affect value. So whereas lighten actually is lightening up values. So if for example, let's put this back to lighten. If I turn this black and white layer on, you see that it's actually bright, these spots, you see? So they're creating some self-illumination. Now this will only work if these are meant to do that. If these are actual camouflage patterns that are same value as the skin, they wouldn't do this. Okay, so just in case you guys understand that. So you see it's on lighten. So it's actually creating hotter values. But it does kind of look cool. It's kind of like a neon glow. But if you want it to look correct purely as a pattern, you could leave it on color layer, for example. Let me change the color here a little bit. Like these, we can make these kind of purple dots in here. Let me kind of cyan green. Okay, and these will not affect value. So if I turn the black and white layer on and off, it doesn't do anything. Okay, but in reality, these patterns will have a different value. So you can also try things like overlay works quite well. Overlay plays off your values, but it's different. You see, when I turn this on and off, you'll see some of these dots remain. Oops, let me bring it up. Right, so you can see this layer is still in here. So I turn this on, off, you can see, versus if I put on color, it'll disappear. Color, gone, no longer there. So that's up to you. It's all dependent on what you're trying to achieve with this design, what these camouflage dots are doing, different usages for this, right? So overlays looks quite nice as well. So we'll reduce it down so it's not blasting neon. And that's it. This tutorial is quite simple in that aspect. Maybe in next week or so we'll do a design one as well. To finish this guy off, if you're actually doing this for client work, don't forget to put some notes and some, sign your name and things like that on the bottom so they know who did it. So in this case, write your name, what this is for. So like demo, oops, date is July 2010, right? So that's kind of stuff is just for art department reasons, so they can archive your work and they know who did it. I'll open up another image here. You see this one. This is what we did in class. As I usually do a demo and then I print it out for the students, so that way they could kind of have a physical copy on their desk and to review. So what this image does is kind of went over what we did. Here's a rough sketch, a little bit clean up line drawing, and here's the 3 finished version of this guy with different levels of detail or color patterns. You can see. So just to show students a nice way to present stuff. So if you're presenting this design, assuming here's a more final design and this is just a color pass or a texture pass, because all you're doing the only difference between these 3 is a whoops, where's my big brush? The only difference is textures. Okay, so this is more for the 3D department. If you have to decide, okay, what do you do? So for variations for enemy, or if it's a player character, some skin that you could change on him. So that's all it is. All right. And this one you can see it's date and signed. This was done back in January. You can see 2010. Okay. Yeah, that's about it for this demo. I'll go back to the original drawing real quick so you can see what we did with it. And let's try out the line drawing just for fun. Line drawing, where's line drawing, line work? Boom. You can see line drawing at this point almost not needed. Okay. If we had another hour or maybe 2 hours on this guy, the line drawing could completely disappear. You can see it doesn't really do much to this drawing at all. Everything's holding by value now. So if I turn this to black and white, see the value is holding this piece, not the line. So let's go through here. I'll turn line drawing on just for now, because line drawing has some details I didn't pull out yet. You can see, for example, these areas around his crotch area, this body armor, is still being held by line. So if I turn it off, it sort of disappears. So that's not good. So yeah, again, with more time, this stuff could be all extracted out with value, because individually, these are all little baby forms, the baby cylinder going on here. Right, let me just do a few more notes here. Right, for example, this shape here is a squished cylinder, right, into a flat shape. So what you do is like cylinder on these things. So these are ridges that cause that. This is a big ridge here. So when you're rendering this without any kind of line work, you just take it one step at a time and figure out, okay, if this is a ridge and it's doing this kind of pattern, what happens to the light when it comes to this way? Okay, it's gonna get hot here, it's gonna get hot over here, bounce light, right? That's all. But that stuff takes time. It just all it is time to do it. Okay, so that's about it. So next week, I'm not sure what we're gonna do for the cinema yet, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Okay, bye bye.